Hi, I'm Dr. Randy Hansbrough. I've been in practice in Stuart, Florida since 1981, and I am what is known as a chiropractic neurologist. I received my certification from the world-renowned Carrick Institute for Graduate Studies, and I'm registered with the American Chiropractic Neurology Board, which is under the auspices of the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, the international standard for medical, nursing, dental, and chiropractic certifications. I say this because I have the training and ongoing recertification to help you get to the root of your thyroid condition. Over 90% of thyroid conditions have their basis in what is called autoimmunity. They are caused by an out-of-control immune system that has been triggered by an infection, chronic allergy, food sensitivity, or a combination of these things. Now, a lot of study and research has gone into this, and that is why we must uncover the underlying reason for why your thyroid gland isn't working like it should. It is critical to understand that drugs will never cure you, and while they may be useful for temporary periods, every effort must be made to find out what the problem is, because if you don't, you will likely get worse over time while your doctor gives you more drugs to combat the side effects of the drugs you are taking now. I have helped many people with their thyroid disorders, and there is an excellent chance that I can do the same for you too. I care about people, and I want to see you healthy again. In order to do this now, we will have to run lab tests and look at your blood, urine, and saliva to see where your deficiencies lie, and then seek to correct them with potent nutrition products called nutraceuticals. Unlike pharmaceuticals, which are drugs, nutraceuticals work by rebuilding your health on a cellular level, helping your body repair itself so your thyroid isn't under so much stress all the time. Now, according to abundant research worldwide, you stand a much better chance of succeeding in this way compared to the drugs you have been taking. And once you experience for yourself the difference, you'll never want to go back to the old way of doing things. You'll realize that your symptoms were worse when you were taking drugs for things like dry skin, thinning hair, insomnia, fatigue, depression, loss of libido, bowel dysfunction, memory and concentration problems, joint pain, muscle aches, tingling and burning, and the list goes on. You probably wouldn't be watching this video if you were happy with the treatment you've been getting. And I want you to know that I really care about my patients, and if you become one of them, I will turn over every known stone until we find out why you are suffering. Another reason that is often overlooked is the effect that the brain has on thyroid function. This is because the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands sit in the middle of the brain, and if the brain's chemistry is abnormal, these two very important glands will not work correctly, and the thyroid won't work right either. That is why many people who are put on antidepressant medications start putting on weight, even if they exercise and eat small portions. The reason drugs can cause weight gain is because they disrupt brain chemistry by causing neurotransmitter imbalances, which in turn negatively influence the function of the hypothalamus production of thyrotropin-releasing hormone. That in turn affects the pituitary gland, which does not send the correct amount of thyroid-stimulating hormone to the thyroid gland. Now, when this happens, abnormal levels of T4 and T3 hormones are released by the thyroid gland, and the result is the condition you've got. This is why it is so important to have a fully functioning brain without the drugs messing things up. Let's take a look at how this works. Now remember, I mentioned before that the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands sit right in the middle of the brain. So obviously, if the brain is not functioning correctly, it's pretty much impossible for the hypothalamus or the pituitary glands to do their jobs very well either. So let's see how that works. Here we have brain function with the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And this is the upper part of the brain where all the more sophisticated thought processes take place and more sophisticated willful function occurs. Now on the left side of the brain is the analytical side. That's where logic, language, science, and math occur, among other things. And on the right side of the brain is the creative side, where we have intuition, holism, music, and art. Down further in the brain we have the cerebellum, the right side, and the cerebellum, the left side, and both halves are involved in balance and coordination. Now what they do is they perceive movement and posture of the body below, and they feed that information to the opposite side of the brain. So the left cerebellum feeds information to the right hemisphere, and the right cerebellum feeds information to the left hemisphere. When this is in a balanced fashion, the hemispheres, left and right, work very efficiently. And as a result, the hypothalamus and pituitary glands, which are right in the middle here, they work a whole lot better as well. Other things occur in the brain that regulate autonomic functions, or the things that we don't have to think about. And this occurs in the midbrain and the brain stem. Functions like heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, digestion, sleep, and temperature regulation, to name a few, these functions all occur in the midbrain and the brain stem. If you have an imbalance between the two halves of the brain, you can have disorders occur within these systems, like rapid heartbeat, blood pressure disorder, rapid or shallow breathing, digestive disturbances, insomnia, difficulty keeping your temperature regulated in cold or hot environments. So for people with cold hands and feet or hot flashes, this can be a real problem. Now, in order to evaluate the brain, we have to measure the efficiency of the cerebellum halves. And then we also have to look at your cranial nerves, because they all live up here in the upper brain. And these cranial nerves are responsible for smell, sight, eye movements, facial sense, facial expression, balance through the vestibulocochlear apparatus in the inner ear, swallowing, heart, lungs, and gastrointestinal function through the vagus nerve, neck movement through the accessory nerve, tongue movement through the hypoglossal nerve. And we have to evaluate these things to determine the functional efficiency of the upper brain. Now, why is all this important? Because, as I said before, the brain affects these important glands which affect the thyroid gland. And the way that essentially works is, in a normally functioning system, a balanced brain will allow for the hypothalamus to release proper amounts of thyrotropin-releasing hormone, or TRH, which will then influence the pituitary gland, and it will manufacture thyroid-stimulating hormone, or TSH, which will in turn stimulate the thyroid gland in the middle of your neck, which will then in turn produce T3 and T4 thyroid hormones. Now, these thyroid hormones will feed back to the pituitary gland and feed back to the hypothalamus. And as they feed back, if T4 and T3 are too low, then the pituitary gland will manufacture more thyroid-stimulating hormone in an attempt to cause the thyroid gland to make more T3 and T4. In addition, the hypothalamus if T4 and T3 are low, will also increase the production of thyrotropin-releasing hormone to stimulate the pituitary to then stimulate the thyroid. So it's a feedback mechanism. Now, while all of this is working, it's producing metabolism. Either that metabolism is going to be normal or it's going to be abnormal. And if it's abnormal, you're going to have symptoms like these and maybe more. And these symptoms are going to involve insomnia, hair loss, irritability, fatigue, depression, constipation, dry skin, low libido, memory decrease, brain fog, achiness, and thin nails, and more. So if this sounds like you in any way, I understand. You know, it's no way to live your life. It's miserable. So the key with all of this is we need to do blood, urine, and saliva testing to see what the hormones are doing, to also see if there's any autoimmunity present in your body from either a leaky gut syndrome or other autoimmune reaction, and get busy correcting it. Get busy healing the gut and regenerating healthy body regrowth of normal tissue so that your body can begin to heal through a nutraceutical repair process on a cellular level. And while that's going on, we need to get the brain balanced. Now, there are special stimulating techniques that we do that are very gentle, very easy to tolerate, mostly involving auditory stimulation, visual stimulation, vibration stimulation, and various other special techniques that are unique to a chiropractic neurologist, functional neurologist, that can bring your brain back into a much more natural, balanced state. And when we do that, we're basically pulling all of this together, pulling it all together so that your thyroid doesn't have so much stress on it and it can begin to function more naturally like it should. Now, let's talk about how we are going to approach your thyroid disorder. First, we will analyze your blood serum for antibodies against your thyroid, but we will also look at antibodies against food proteins that may be complicating your overall health picture. Further, we will look at whether you have intestinal permeability, which is also known as leaky gut syndrome. This will also be revealed on a blood serum profile. Now, remember that chart showing where your pituitary gland sits in your brain? Well, if your brain chemistry is out of balance, it can affect your pituitary, which in turn can also affect your thyroid gland. That is why we will analyze your urine to measure neurotransmitters from the brain. Abnormal levels of brain chemistry can also cause abnormalities in sleep, moods, energy, memory, focus, libido, and more. It is important that we also look at your hormone levels in your saliva, because abnormal hormone levels from your adrenal glands and other endocrine glands can affect your thyroid just like brain chemistry can. So we need to be thorough and check that too. Many times it is a combination of autoimmune antibodies, brain neurochemistry, and hormones all adding up to a cocktail that is toxic to your thyroid gland, and we should be diligent and do something about it. Once we gather all of the evidence from these three super systems, we can then put together a plan of action and begin the repair process. Your action plan, guided by me, could look like this. 1, repair the intestinal permeability or leaky gut with potent but gentle nutraceutical medical food that will heal the inflamed membrane and allow for a return to normal digestive function. 2, remove all offending and inflammatory foods from your diet and replace them with healing and anti-inflammatory foods. 3, add in other nutraceutical medical foods that calm the immune system, soothe the adrenal glands, balance the brain chemistry, and start the process of better hypothalamus pituitary thyroid function. As you participate in this team effort and this process going forward, you will feel steady empowerment while your body heals and your thyroid gland is under less stress from general systemic breakdown. Listen to what Paula says and Gloria about their experiences with their thyroid conditions and the improvement they've had with this natural approach.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I've been coming to Dr. Hansbrough's for about 6 months now. And when I came to him, I was in pretty bad shape. I had digestive problems, I had terrible dizziness, I had a lot of pain, I had sound issues where sound was bothering me, and I was in pretty bad shape. Couldn't sleep at night, and I have to say that since I've started with all of the treatments he's given me, the nutraceuticals and the testing that we have done, we have been able to repair almost all of that now. I'm sleeping wonderfully. I have very little pain. We're almost through that, and I can honestly say that it has been a wonderful experience for me. And to top it off, I lost weight, which I wasn't even expecting to do. So if you're having any of these issues, please do not hesitate to come in and have a conversation. And I can almost guarantee you that Dr. Hansbrough can help you.
Hi, I'm Gloria. I made my last video for Dr. Randy Hansbrough about 3 weeks ago, and I was starting to feel a little better then, but I'm now feeling really good. I mean, I have the energy when I get up in the morning, and it's just good to be up and around and feeling good again. I went to my regular doctor last week, and my blood work and everything was so improved. I had lost weight. My blood work was perfect. She took me off some of my medications. I'm off about 4 of my medications now, and hoping to get rid of more. And mostly all I can say, it just feels so great. Without Dr. Hansbrough, I would not be able to say all these things. It's good to be alive again. I feel more like the me I used to be.
These are just 2 examples of many patients of mine who have taken charge of their lives and gotten their thyroid problems under control, and is what you can experience too when we work together to get to the underlying cause of your thyroid condition. Now, you should know that the longer you wait to do something about it, the worse this will get, and that's a fact. The more challenging it will be to bring it under control. Many have told me that I was their last attempt to regain control of the normalcy they once had. They remember the days of a good night's sleep, plenty of energy, a clear mind, normal weight, no aches and pains, and other pleasantries of a healthy and normal life. Well, you can have that too. All you have to do is call me and set up an appointment for a consultation. Let me and my friendly and caring staff, Jody and Marion, get your life going again. I look very much forward to meeting you soon.